René Descartes, the man who dared to doubt a journey through the life and philosophy of René Descartes. A cold March morning in 1596, in the small town of La Haye en Touraine, France, a child was born into an aristocratic family. This child, named René Descartes, would grow up to become one of the most influential philosophers and mathematicians in history. Raised by his grandmother after his mother's death, young René was a frail boy, but his mind was as sharp as a blade. His early education at the Jesuit College of La Flèche exposed him to a rigorous curriculum of classical literature, mathematics, and philosophy. Yet, something about the traditional Aristotelian teachings did not sit well with him. He craved certainty, a foundation upon which he could build true knowledge. Early life and formative years as a young man, Descartes embarked on a series of travels across Europe, serving briefly in the military and immersing himself in the intellectual currents of his time. In 1618, he joined the army of Maurice of Nassau in the Dutch Republic, where he studied military engineering and mathematics. However, the life of a soldier did not interest him as much as the pursuit of knowledge. He spent much of his time engrossed in discussions with scholars and scientists, absorbing new ideas and sharpening his analytical mind. It was during these journeys that he conceived some of his most groundbreaking ideas. In 1619, on a cold and contemplative night in a German town, he experienced a series of dreams that convinced him he was destined to uncover a new philosophical system. These dreams, which he later described as profound revelations, led him to believe that all knowledge could be restructured on the basis of reason alone. This moment marked the beginning of his lifelong quest to redefine the very nature of human knowledge. The method of doubt and cogito, ergo sum. Descartes' most famous contribution to philosophy is his method of doubt. Influenced by the scientific revolution and the rise of skepticism, he sought to discard all beliefs that could possibly be false. In his seminal work, Meditations on First Philosophy, 1641, he famously posited, "I will suppose, then, that everything I see is spurious. I will believe that my memory tells me lies, and that none of the things I see or hear are real. I will suppose that I have no senses at all. What then can be certain? By doubting everything, including the very existence of the external world, he arrived at his most famous conclusion, cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I am." This statement became the foundation of modern Western philosophy. If everything else could be doubted, the act of doubting itself was proof that he, as a thinking being, must exist. This radical approach laid the groundwork for rationalism, a philosophical movement that emphasizes reason as the primary source of knowledge. Descartes' contributions to science and mathematics beyond philosophy. Descartes revolutionized mathematics by developing analytical geometry, the bridge between algebra and geometry that laid the groundwork for calculus. His Cartesian coordinate system remains a fundamental tool in mathematics and physics today. He was also a pioneer of the idea that the physical world operates according to mathematical principles, an insight that greatly influenced later scientific thought. His approach to science, outlined in Discourse on the Method, 1637, emphasized rationalism and deductive reasoning. He believed that the universe operated like a grand machine governed by mathematical laws, a perspective that profoundly influenced later scientists like Newton. His philosophy of nature, sometimes called mechanical philosophy, proposed that all physical phenomena could be explained in terms of matter and motion, without the need for supernatural explanations. Mind-body dualism, the ghost in the machine. Another cornerstone of Descartes' philosophy is dualism, the idea that the mind and body are distinct substances. In Meditations on First Philosophy, he argued, there is a great difference between mind and body, inasmuch as the body is by nature always divisible, and the mind is entirely indivisible. This mind-body dualism raised profound questions about consciousness, free will, and the nature of reality, debates that continue to this day in philosophy and neuroscience. According to Descartes, the mind is a non-physical thinking substance, while the body is a mechanical entity that follows the laws of nature. This separation posed significant challenges for future philosophers and scientists, particularly in understanding how an immaterial mind could interact with a physical body. His theory was met with both admiration and criticism. Some, like Gottfried, Wilhelm Leibniz and Baruch Spinoza, sought to refine or challenge his dualistic approach. Others pointed out the difficulty of explaining the interaction between two fundamentally different substances. Despite these challenges, Descartes' dualism became a foundational concept in the study of consciousness and metaphysics. The later years and legacy in 1649, Descartes was invited to Sweden by Queen Christina to tutor her in philosophy. The rigorous schedule, waking up before dawn in the harsh Scandinavian winter, took a toll on his already frail health. The cold, coupled with the stress of court life, led to his untimely death from pneumonia in February 1650. His death did not mark the end of his influence. His works continued to shape the Enlightenment, influencing thinkers such as Spinoza, Leibniz, and Kant. His method of doubt laid the foundation for modern scientific inquiry, and his emphasis on reason inspired the rationalist tradition that shaped Western thought. The enduring influence of Descartes' radical skepticism, emphasis on reason, and mathematical innovations laid the foundation for modern philosophy and science. His words continue to echo through the ages. To live without philosophizing is in truth the same as keeping the eyes closed without attempting to open them. His ideas remain central to discussions on epistemology, metaphysics, and cognitive science. Philosophers and scientists still grapple with the questions he raised. Can we trust our senses? What is the nature of consciousness? How does the mind relate to the body? In the end, Descartes was not merely a philosopher or a mathematician. He was a seeker of truth, a pioneer of reason, and a mind that dared to question everything. And for that, the world will never forget him